Here we are again. So, this one's a little bit repetitive. I apologize if it seems that way to you, but just want to touch base on some things. So, now, it's been a couple weeks, hasn't even been quite a full month, but a couple weeks. President Trump is in office. He's signing lots and lots of executive orders. Things are happening really fast. It's been kind of hard to post for me, some videos because I might record it in the morning and by the next day or that even sometimes later the same day, it's already old news. So there's no point in posting it. So there's that going on. But I'm seeing, particularly on my Facebook, because I don't do a lot of different social media, but on Facebook, those are people that I know personally, most of them, 99% of them in some capacity, and a lot of them are people that I've grown up with. I've known they're either my family or they're people that I went to school with. And I was fortunate enough to go to live in the same neighborhood from elementary school all the way through graduating from high school. My family didn't move, so we stayed in one spot. So a lot of these people I've known literally since I was 5 years old. And they got the same education I got. And I bring that up because what I'm seeing, and I don't know what it is, if it's just the passage of time or the amount of trust that we put into our media, and that includes me, okay? Fact check me. I'm not always right. I don't claim to be right, but there are certain things that I know. And so, I'm seeing things posted like articles, because, every journalist is truthful and honest and doesn't have their own agenda and maybe got their information straight from the source and didn't just recopy what they read from another journalist, which we never see, right? Or memes, and God knows what the purpose behind those are, when they're putting information out there that is either misleading or not correct, right? So we're seeing a lot of this, and it's emotional, and I'm not, I can't see what the real purpose in it is. They're just saying, you're going to lose this, or you're going to lose that, or Trump is destroying this, and Trump is destroying that. When the truth of the matter is, okay, not every executive order is written in stone, okay? So I'll give you an example, and this is based on past executive orders. Right now there's memes going around that they're going to destroy the Kennedy Center and they're going to destroy the Smithsonian and things like that, okay? There's also memes going around saying that basically this administration is going to do away with a lot of things that are protected by other laws, not orders, laws, okay, that are protected under laws either through the Civil Rights or through the Americans with Disabilities Act, okay, which, to me, that's going to be a big deal because I have people, specifically Ray, but other people in my family too, that are protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Anyway, and I mean, it's things like wheelchair ramps, okay, handicapped accessible bathrooms, things like that, things that are laws, okay, they're laws. Anyway, they're not going to do away with things like that. It would be stupid to do away with things like that. And I'm going to tell you why. I told you before, if you don't like something, you need to go to your local representatives and tell them that. And that is your congressperson or your senator. And it has to be in the district where you live. So I can't be specific. Well, let me backtrack for a second. First thing is, find out what the truth is, okay? So if you go to whitehouse.gov, and the list is long because he's signing a lot of orders, but you can go through and see the actual orders that he's signed, okay? So these are legal documents. They're not articles. It kind of looks like it when you go to, I forgot forgot how it was worded. It's basically like actions taken or something like that. And it looks like headlines. Okay. It looks like headlines. Okay. So you're going to have to, read the headline and say, oh, okay, that has to do with this issue. Okay. And then when you open it up, there's the documentation. Okay. And it tells exactly what its purpose is. It tells you how it's going to be implemented, all these different things, and the precedent, and sometimes it even will cite cases for the justification for this particular action. And that's, broadly speaking, that's based on the ones that I've gone to and looked at. I have not read every single one of them. There's too many of them. I go to the ones that are of interest to me, okay? And I recommend that you do the same, because my interest and your interest may vary a little bit, okay? And that's okay. I don't have a problem with that, and I certainly hope you don't have a problem with me having different interests, because my life is different from yours. So you can go on there and find out exactly what's going on. So then when you see this meme that says everybody's going to have to wear purple on Saturdays from now on because Trump signed it into order and purple's not your color, and based on whatever it is, you can go in there and find out if that's actually true or not, that you get arrested if you don't wear purple on Saturday, okay? Because that's pretty much how ridiculous some of this stuff is coming out now. So you can go on there and verify it. Now, once you go on there, if you read it and you're like, oh no, I don't like that, I don't like that at all, your next step is to go to your congressperson. And you have to go to the congressperson in your district. So my congressperson is not going to be able to help you unless you live where I live. And your congressperson can't help me unless I live where you live, okay? So what you do is you go on and you Google, who is my local congressperson? And it'll ask you where you live, and it'll tell you who your elected people are in your area, and the same thing for your senators. And now that everything's up and running and everybody's actively working, you should be able to get the emails, you should be able to get phone numbers, you should be able to get physical addresses, which, by the way, did you know that your congressperson should have an office local to you in your district, and also an office in Washington, D.C.? They should have two offices, one local and one in DC, okay? And then you can pick out how you want to do it. If it's something that you feel you can explain better by calling the office, go ahead and call the office. And you don't have to speak to congressperson whoever. You can speak to the person that answers the phone. That's their job. Their job is to listen to the callers, take a message, report it, etc. If there's something more complicated, or they have resources, or maybe you called the wrong office for whatever your issue is, because that's a possibility, they can direct you to who you're supposed to call, okay? Because they don't handle everything either. If you've got a problem, say, with a road, maybe you need to call your county commissioner, you know what I'm saying? And they would be able to direct you. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. They will be able to direct you, advise you, take notes, and report to the person that they're employed by as a congressperson. And then that congressperson, their responsibility is to you and me. And it doesn't matter if you voted for him, because quite frankly, I did not vote for the person who is my representative. I didn't. Okay? But that's who I have to work with right now. Like it or not. I may not like it, I might. But the thing of the thing of it is, if that person listens to me and enough other people who feel the way I do on whatever issue, and they've got an ounce of common sense in their head, a couple working molecules up there, brain cells, and enough people say, look, we don't like blah, 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 they should go into Congress and say, look, my people don't like blah, 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 and this is why, and this is what we, et cetera, et cetera. Because this is not a permanent position. They're not going to retire from this position, most likely. I mean, they could, I suppose, but more than likely, they're going to want to get reelected, which means it's to their best interest to listen to you and me, okay, and not their own agenda. And I said something before, and I want to reiterate this. this is very, very important that we start doing this. Y'all need to start talking to your friends and your family and the people that you work with. And it doesn't even matter if you agree with what they say or not, because it doesn't matter if you agree with me either. But we have become very complacent as a society as far as actually taking the action and exercising our rights as citizens of the United States of America and letting our representatives know what it is that we want from our government. Meanwhile, the lobbyists and the special interest groups are not doing that. They are constantly going up to the elected officials, and they pay money and they get what they want because they are actively doing whatever it is that supports their agenda. But there's two things that I think we need to keep in mind as far as the lobbyists are concerned. And the number one thing is, first of all, they don't get to vote. They are an organization. They are not an individual. Now, granted, individuals within that lobby do have the right to vote, but that's a handful of people compared to the entire population of the United States of America. Okay, so we outnumber them as far as votes go. And number two, the vote has more power if we start making it very clear that their hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to cost them in the long run. You know, I'm talking about the lobbyists, the people who donate, versus the people who are going to guarantee that they have a job. Okay? So we need to start being proactive. You don't have to vote on every, voice your opinion on every single issue, because you may not have an opinion. It may not make a difference to you about one certain thing. It might not mean anything to you. You may not care, and that's okay. You don't have to. It's very complex. There's a lot of different issues. I get it. I don't care about everything. Let other people worry about that. If it's important to you, say something. But I'm finding it very, very hard to sit here and look at my friends that I love and I care about, okay, whining and crying about this, that, and the other thing, and posting things as if it's true, and actually telling me that they did read that particular executive order when I know they didn't, because the things that they were saying did not align with what was in the actual order. Okay, so either they're just hateful and they like being miserable, or they're lying to me because I called them out on something, or they're lazy and they just don't want to do anything. Okay, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard. If you can read an article full of misleading information, why can't you read the actual piece of paper that tells you the truth, what the action is? Okay, and why can't you learn about how our government works? We do not have a kingdom, and there's a reason why they wanted to have a kingdom. Did you know that? Originally, they wanted George Washington to be a king, and he said no, and that's how we came up with the government that we had. And it's very hard to change the Constitution. Okay, it is very hard to change the Constitution. You can't just go in there and wave your pen over a piece of paper and change the Constitution of the United States. That is not easy. Okay. So people thinking that King Trump is going to start ruling our country, they're full of you know what, okay? They're full of you know what. He does not have the power to do that. He doesn't. But you and I have power, and that's what I keep saying. We need to hold these people accountable. Just because he says something doesn't make it so. But if enough of us say something, it can be so. That's my point.